Motion Picture Music, Section 2. Record rights to film performances. You need an agreement with the record company for use of the music in the film. There are 6 important aspects of the album. What is the royalty to the artist? Who is the royalty paid to? Is it paid to the artist or the record company? For the distributor, what can be recouped against the artist's royalty? What can the artist record company recoup? And what rights does the film company have? What are the roles in the release of music videos? The royalties are in the range of 12 to 14% all in, including everybody, the producer, the engineer, all recording, prorated. 16 to 18% for major artists. And what are floors in contracts? No matter how many tracks, you will not get lower than a certain proration of the total. Plus, there's escalations based on sales of the album. Record companies want to collect the royalties and keep 50% before paying the artists. There's a cost of waiving exclusivity. As far as recoupment, unlike record deals where everything is recoupable, what costs can be removed from recoupment? Those are recording costs, artist performance fees, conversion costs, reuse fees, and the rights to the artist's film recording. Can use it on the artist's own record. There could be a restriction on re-recording, usually 5 years. The rights to release singles, music videos. How do the film and record companies share the cost of the music videos? Usually 50-50. And limited footage allowed in the music video. Licensing master recordings for motion pictures. We're talking about the song licensing and not the score or underscore. The deal for these licenses is between the record company and the film company. The right to use a master is only the right to use a physical recording, not the publishing rights. Artists may or may not have approval rights from the record company. However, they can block the deal if they own the publishing on the song. What are the 2 main elements of the record company film company master license? How much is the sync fee? If the master is going to be used on a soundtrack, what is the royalty? What determines the fee the record company will charge? Depends on the popularity of the artist, how the music will be used in the film, and what are the royalty range for these? It's usually 11 to 14% prorated with the most favored nations MFN clause, meaning no one could be paid more than that artist. How is the money split between the record company and the artist? Usually 50-50. What if the record company is releasing the soundtrack album or a single? The artist will get their normal royalty rate. Here's some additional deal points. You need consent of the American Federation of Musicians, Instrumental Music Union. How the music will be used in the film. This will determine if the fee the artist is getting is fair. Also, is the artist okay with what is going on in the film while their music is being performed? The artist's family member may have died of lung cancer, and the shot in the film may be on glorifying smoking, and they may not approve of that. What if the artist owns the masters? Then the deal is between the artist and not the record company, the artist and the film company. What if the artist owns the publishing as well? The artist gets to keep all the money from the sync licenses as well. What if the master recording is already existing? If owned by the record company, they get 50%. Soundtrack album deals. Once again, this is a deal between the record company and the film company. What are the 2 types of soundtrack albums? There are score albums and song albums. A score album is an album wholly of underscore music, no songs. Those are pretty rare unless it's like Star Wars. How about a song album? These are songs by major artists comprised of pre-existing songs and songs written for the film. Living Out Loud is a good soundtrack album that I've bought listened to many times. Soundtrack album advances. What are the advances and royalties for score albums? Usually just the reuse fee, as these albums don't sell that well. Royalties are 17 to 18%. And what about advances and royalties for song albums? It's usually 100 to 300,000, with some up to 500,000. The royalties are 18 to 20%, with escalations up to 22% based on at sales over 1 million copies. Costs and other issues. Who pays a majority of the costs? The film company does. The record company needs to be released when the record needs to be released when the film is released. The record company will want a commitment on the film release and size of the release in theaters. The record company usually owns the masters, but not always. And bonus tracks come from the label's artists. And that's the end of Motion Picture Music, Section 2.